Hi, welcome to Vegan A Go Go. My name is Jess. This is a vegan cooking show, and this is episode 4, and we're making quinoa and black beans. So our star ingredient today, being the quinoa, we'll have, we just use cans of black beans, and we're also going to put some frozen corn into this recipe. This is actually a really great recipe if you've ever bought quinoa, but you weren't sure what to do with it. This is a great introduction to quinoa. It's a very simple recipe. So what we're going to do is basically saute some onions, add our quinoa and some vegetable broth, then add the frozen corn, and then get started or finish up with the black beans and also some cilantro. And again, you can make a degree of modifications with this recipe. If you're not comfortable with too much cumin or too much cilantro, you can always reduce. I just want to make a few comments about quinoa. It's called a super grain, the mother of grains, all grains, I believe is what they call it. It's actually harvested and cultivated mostly in Peru, and it's a complete protein. So it has all the essential amino acids, so it's really great for vegetarians. And one of the things about quinoa, though, is that it has a toxic substance that kind of coats the outside. And most manufacturers get rid of a lot of that substance, but before you use quinoa, you'll want to rinse it in some cold water before you put it into the recipe. So let's get started. Okay, so our pot is hot, and we had it about medium-high heat. We're going to add about a teaspoon of oil. You can use canola oil or olive oil, whatever you prefer. Just about a teaspoon. And with that, we're going to add one chopped onion. And we're going to add 3 cubes of garlic. You can use 3 cloves. You can probably mince it or chop it any way you prefer. Gotta get them out. We're just going to let this saute. We want it to be lightly browned. And while this is sauteing, I'm actually going to go and rinse off our quinoa. Okay, so it looks like it's lightly brown. We're going to grab our quinoa and add that, and I rinsed this off just briefly. So we'll add, this is 3/4 cup of quinoa. And to this, we're also going to add our vegetable broth, and you're going to add twice as much broth as quinoa, so that'll be 1.5 cups. Give us a quick stir, and we're also going to add our spices, and I have 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. Throw that in. And we also have 1 teaspoon of cumin. Get that in there. Give that a stir. And some salt and pepper to taste. Okay, so we're going to let this simmer. This is going to go for about 20 minutes, covered. And we're just going to turn it down a bit and let her go. Okay, so in 20 minutes we'll come back and we'll add the rest of our ingredients. Okay, so our quinoa is finished cooking, and what you'll notice about quinoa, if you've never cooked with quinoa before, is that when it cooks, before you start cooking with it, it's a white little bead, I guess you could call it. And what happens is, as it heats up, this white outer shell will start to roll up and kind of peel away from the grain that's on the inside, and so you'll end up with this rolled up curl of a shell, and then you'll also see the grain from the quinoa itself. And so as soon as you see that that's happened, which we do, we have that, we know that it's finished. It's also absorbed all the liquid. So what we're going to do is we're going to add 1 cup of frozen corn, and we're just going to let that heat through. And we're going to let it go for maybe 5 minutes to make sure that it's completely heated through. So the corn is heated through, and we're going to add some black beans and cilantro. And the black beans that I have actually have some seasonings in it, with it. So I didn't really rinse them, but I did drain them a little bit. And that's 2 cans of the black beans. I'll just stir that in. And then you can add as much cilantro as you'd like. I have about a quarter cup to a half cup chopped up and ready to pour in. And I know some people aren't as fond of cilantro as maybe I am, but so you can adjust that to whatever you prefer. It's nice and mixed up, and we'll throw in our cilantro. And just stir that in. Okay. So I think we'll just let this sit for another minute or two just to make sure it's fully heated through, and then it's ready to serve. Okay. So we've added all of our ingredients, cooked up real nice, looks beautiful, and smells great, by the way. And we'll just take a quick taste. Excellent. I love this recipe. It's one of my favorites, and I hope you enjoy it too. So thanks for joining us for this episode, and this is our quinoa and black beans. And I hope you check out the recipe at veganagogo.com. And if you'd like to email us with any comments or ideas, you can email us at fans@veganagogo.com. So thanks for joining us again, and my name is Jess, and we'll see you next time.